Well, let's move on to the next one, which is this is a feature-length film called The Lonely Crowd, and I have a clip.
They seem to be a magnet for assholes.
He could use some manners. But I can't fault him for having good taste.
Did you just compliment me?
Let me ask you something. I play the online game.
Same reason people play slot machines.
That's very, very beautiful. I just kind of got a bit into that. Feature-length film, The Lonely Crowd, written and directed by David St. Clair. Brian, have you got a nice, juicy synopsis for this one?
Yeah, okay. So Peter and Ashley meet via an online dating app, and the date escalates into a heated battle with the sexes. When Ashley storms out, Peter finds they're being harassed and intervenes, unwittingly getting involved with corrupt cops, kidnapping and stolen money. I'm reluctant to go into more detail than that because I think this film has to be seen with as little information available as possible because it's a winding and twisty plot that I think will have more of an impact if you don't know what's going to happen. I really like this a hell of a lot. It almost feels like a film that's waiting to be picked up by one of the big studios. For the first 20 minutes, it feels like a standard rom-com. Some really good lines in this, where they're asking each other questions. And he says, is your glass half empty or half full? Depends whether I'm pouring or drinking. I like that. That's a good line. But then it turns a lot darker and turns into a very accomplished thriller. Very impressive. Again, high-quality scripts. Very good actors that I feel like I should recognise. They're the actors. They're actors I feel I should know, but I don't. And I fully expect them to be appearing in something bigger, something with a higher profile. But I mean, this film will do them no harm whatsoever. This is a very, very, very good film.
I know what you mean about the actors. They have that slight quality about them. You feel like you're watching something classic almost. So Adam Wesley and Taylor Ann Danehauer. I really like their chemistry, and I think the film obviously will, lives or dies on that because they are the central thing here. That if you're not on board for that, then it's going to be a rough ride. But I absolutely was, and as you said, the battle of sexes thing. I think that was really well explored. Whilst you've got this storyline that is maybe a bit more thrilling, more actiony going on, you've got something humorous and human being explored at the same time from both sides, and it's well proportioned. There's lots of that stuff. I did find the initial section of the movie a little bit slow in its pacing, like we're getting used to the character and why he is the way he is. I felt that it was a little bit like, okay, well, let's get to the story, like come on, like we don't need to spend too much time. You could have probably told that a bit quicker and got that as a minor bugbear. I was really with it once it was going, and it's one of those films that you can imagine you put it on thinking I've not got much expectation, and you suddenly find yourself you've watched the whole thing, and because you were just there for the ride. So I was very, very impressed with it.
Yeah, I liked it a hell of a lot. And with these indie films, I think that, I don't know about you, Chris, but the quality of indie films that we're reviewing on the podcast, they're just getting better and better. The standard is getting higher, and that tells you a lot. How much talent there is working in the indie film industry, if we can call it that, where they're making such high quality films with high production values as well. I'm just so impressed. I mean, these 5 films we've got tonight, all really, really good. So hats off to them. They've really done a good job on this. Very impressed.
I reviewed it on the website, and you can watch the trailer on my review. You can also see my video review on our YouTube channel. And
Nice.
I think you're right. I just want to echo that, because a lot of the times when we were first starting out with UK Film Review and we started getting independent films, they were rough. They were really rough. And then now that gap between a studio movie and what someone is making, with their own budget and their own money, without the help of any studios or any kind of big named studio, that it's very impressive. I think it's crucial to always focus on, one, what's the story that you're telling, and two, what's the best way to tell that story without it losing anything in the in the filming. So like just to use Thrash again as an example, like, would you want to tell that story with no budget? Whereas with this, I don't know what the budget actually was, but it certainly wouldn't have been the same as Thrash. And actually, what they did here was still very impressive in terms of they used lots of locations. There were stunts. There were things that were impressive in terms of being on the screen. But the core of the film really is the characters and that dialogue between them when they're together. It comes this sort of like unwitting buddy road trip movie, where they don't really want to be together but kind of thrust together, which we've seen before. Don't get me wrong, that is a trope that has been done in cinema, but here it didn't lose anything in the telling. It still felt fresh, still felt like a story that we wanted to be part of. As you said, that quality is there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really, I mean, if you compare an indie film to a mainstream movie made by one of the big studios, you used to be able to detect a gap between the two. But I think that gap's closing. It just doesn't seem quite as obvious. Depends on the film you're making, as you pointed out. That if you were making a film like Thrash, you couldn't make that as an indie movie. You'd need a bigger budget, right? But I think for other films, for character-driven films like this film, for example, you don't necessarily need a huge budget, but they did a hell of a job with it, though, because you can't sort of say there's a huge difference. You couldn't say, oh, that's an indie movie, necessarily.
No, if you saw this on Netflix and you watched it, you would just think it's another big budget movie. If you want to find out more about The Lonely Crowd, they have an Instagram page dedicated. So it's The Lonely Crowd Movie, all one word, no underscores or anything. And as I said, go to the website to watch the trailer and let us know what you think.